Welcome to this SmarterMeasure training or review that we've created to really clarify a few things. I think there is a little confusion surrounding SmarterMeasure on a few different levels, and so we want to make sure that we answer a lot of the questions that are out there, and to also introduce a new process in some ways regarding SmarterMeasure. So let's go ahead and begin. And we'll start off with the registration, okay? We have seen a lot of duplicate registrations as of late, and really a little confusion surrounding the registration um, of students for SmarterMeasure. So we're going to talk about that. Now, first of all, students should only be registered a maximum of 2 times for SmarterMeasure. It shouldn't be 6 times or anything like that. It should only be 2, really. Okay. The first being on the initial registration. Okay, so if the student for some reason cannot access the link via the SmarterMeasure email that they get, let's say they get the email too and something's wonky within that and they can't access it, we should not re-register them. If they say, oh, I can't find it, I can't find it, you just keep re-registering them and to have that email sent. That is not the process. That is non-compliant. Okay, what we will need to do is just simply send them the link to the assessment. That's what we should do, okay? And I'll be covering this part, that resending the link piece here in just a moment. But that's the first time, right? On the initial. And second, I guess the second registration would be if the student needs to take the assessment a second time. So per policy, though, the second attempt must be taken 24 hours after the first failed attempt. This is really important, okay? Because again, the whole goal of SmarterMeasure is to prepare our students, or to at least look into if the student is ready to go to school online, right? To have a prepared student. So this is how that begins. If they fail the first attempt, we want to give them a full 24 hours to review the material, which brings me to another point. The student must be sent the technical competency resource guide if they failed their first attempt. We need to give them that opportunity to review that material so that when they do come back, they can in fact, hopefully pass and get a score that they're proud of and that we can move forward with, okay? And so we want to make sure that they are receiving that, and I wanted to give some clarity in regards to that as well. Now, another thing here is that because we have seen an increase in the multiple registrations and students being sent, what we've seen, that second chance assessment too early. So for example, they didn't pass, and then the agent just sends out the second chance and tells the student, hey, I'm going to send the second chance, but you can't take it for 24 hours. That's not really how the process works. Technically, the student shouldn't be registered for the second chance assessment until that time is now available for them to take it, okay? But because we've seen all of this, there will be a change to this process, okay? And that is your ADOA will now be managing the second attempt registration. And this is to ensure we remain compliant moving forward, okay? ACs will no longer have access or the ability to register students for the second chance assessment, okay? Now, I want to just cover the policy really quick so you guys really understand that, you know, the applicant who fails to meet the minimum score may take the SmarterMeasure assessment 24 hours or later, not before, okay, but 24 hours or later. So what does that mean? Well, hey, 24 hours is great, but if it's after that, that's fine too. How much ever time is necessary for the student or the situation, that's what will follow, okay? So 24 hours or later is appropriate here, okay? Now, if the applicant fails to achieve that minimum score after 2 attempts, the applicant must wait 30 days before he or she can retake that assessment. Okay. Now, if the applicant fails to meet the minimum score on that third attempt, then they have to wait 120 days to make another attempt. Okay. Now, the 30-day thing. Now, let's say in the instance where a student returns after 30 days to retake the assessment, right? Now, if the student previously completed all the other assessments, okay, which are still valid, we would then only need to register them for the second attempt, okay? Because they are all the other assessments done. So we just need to get that tech competency one completed, okay? But if they did not complete the other assessments in their previous attempts, then they should be registered for the full assessment suite. I hope that makes sense, because that's the way it goes, because they're still going to need to complete those in order to be packaged. Okay? So again, if the student returns after 30 days to retake the assessment, if they had previously completed all the other assessments, but just, did not get the right score for the tech comp, then we'll just send the second attempt. Well, we'll just register them for the second attempt. But if they hadn't completed any of those, they only just failed the tech comp twice, but didn't complete any of the other assessments, then we'll set them up for the initial one so that they can take that tech competency assessment, hopefully pass, and then move on to complete the other assessments. Okay. Now, SmarterMeasure review, some tips. Okay. Now, I'm going to demonstrate some things on resending the correct link to students. Okay, like we mentioned, if the students can't find it or whatever the case may be, we should not re-register the student. We should just be sending the link. Okay, I'm also going to, since we're there, I'm going to discuss taking a snip of the SmarterMeasure quick view to send over to financial aid for the warm transfer to a JFP. And then I'm also going to review locating the canned email for the Tech Competency Resource Guide, which is in SharePoint. Okay, so let me go ahead and review that for you guys really quick. So resending the link is pretty simple, but I think there is a little bit of confusion surrounding resending the link. So let me walk through this with you all. Now, once you've searched your student and now you're looking to resend the link. Now, again, you're resending the link because the student can't find the SmarterMeasure email, or if they do receive the SmarterMeasure email, it's not working or requiring them to copy and paste or something like that, right? Or if some other issues happen, wherever you may need to resend the link. Now, in this instance, you'll just simply click on this gear. And again, it should not be hard to find, because again, if we should only have 2 at a maximum, 2 registrations for a student. So it shouldn't be hard to locate and identify which one we're sending. So you will just simply, let's say I'll take this one here, and don't take mine as an example. This was all test stuff. So you'll click on the gear. And we're going to go to Quick View. So we'll go to Quick View, and in Quick View, you'll notice the Impersonate. Now, do not left click on Impersonate. Okay, if you left click on Impersonate, you may see, I don't know what you might see, but I've noticed that some people have, because this has been completed already. Let's take a look at something else. Let's say if I grab this one here that has not been done, and I go to Quick View, and I left click on Impersonate. Let's say you will see this. And so some people have copied this and pasted it into an email. No, that is so incorrect, okay? Because for one, it may not even send them here. It may send them to a login page where it's going to ask them to put in a username and password, which is what we've been seeing a lot of. And so that's not correct. And also, the fact that this is not directed to a specific account. This is just a general thing. So we do not want to use that. This is the incorrect way to do it. You do not send that link. So you're not going to left click and then go into your URL, copy, paste that into an Outlook email, and then send it off. That is not the step. It is, however, you're going to come here to this Impersonate and right click. Now you're going to right click, and then you're going to copy link address. Now, you must be in Chrome. You have to be in Chrome. You can't be in Internet Explorer or Firefox. It will not provide you the option to copy the link address. Okay? So again, you're going to find your student. I'm going to close this. You're going to find your student. You're going to click on the gear. You're going to click on Quick View. You're going to right click on impersonate, and then copy link address. Okay. Once you click on copy link address, you'll open up your Outlook and then pull up a blank email, type in some few words if you like. But then you'll just simply paste. Oops. You'll paste. You will paste the actual link in here. Now you'll notice this link looks very different from the other one, right? So it has a lot of the information that makes this really pertinent to that individual, right? And it has their email address, and it includes their PIN number should they need it, which really identifies them and their account, their registered account for SmarterMeasure. You'll then send this off to your student, and they will be able to then enter into their assessment. They won't have to log in. They'll be taken directly to the first question in SmarterMeasure. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We also don't want to. So there's another link within SmarterMeasure that may be something that is used, which is also incorrect. So let's say in the manage account, there's a link here, independence.smartermeasure.com. That also is not correct link. That is not the correct link. That is the incorrect link to use. We know that the correct link, the only link that we should be sending the student is through the quick view, personate, right click, right? So again, I'm just going to go through this really quick because I don't want to just keep repeating it, but hey, whatever we got to do to help everyone really clarify how we do this. So we're going to click here, hit on quick view, right click on impersonate, and then copy link address. That's how we're doing it. That's how it happens. Now, since we're here, I also want to, like I said, discuss taking a snip of the SmarterMeasure. We're also, for our transfer to a warm transfer to a JFP, we're also going to need this quick view as well. So the tech competency score will be here for that student, and then we'll just simply snip it, right? So we'll hit our snipping tool, we'll hit the new, and then we will, this thing is in the way, we will then just snip all this information. We can copy that right into the email, or you can save it, or however you like to do it. But this is what we'll need to go over with the student when they are transferred over to a JFP. Okay, that's pretty simple, I'm sure. But I just wanted to review that. Also, what I wanted to review with you all is the resources guide, the tech competency resources guide. There is an actual document that we were using initially to send the students, attaching it and all of that, but it's in the canned emails. And I'm not sure if everyone is aware that it's in the canned emails. So let's walk through where those canned emails are just to do it, okay? So we're gonna go to training. Once you're in SharePoint, you're going to go to AC resources, and then AC canned emails. Once you're in AC canned emails, you'll scroll down to the bottom and you'll see the technical competency resource guide. You'll click there, you'll click open, it should pop up, boom. I got my Grammarly, make sure everything is grammatically correct, but you'll have this email already ready to go. Just put the student's name and send it off. Of course, your signature and all of that will also be in this email at the bottom. So all is well there. So I hope that this clarified some stuff. And really it's more of the do not, right? So do not use those other links that we talked about, and just really focus on the actual right click, copy link address. That is the real link to send to students that are having issues logging into SmarterMeasure via the SmarterMeasure email, the SmarterMeasure link, and all of that. They can't find it, all of that good stuff. So we don't have to re-register. Okay, we just need to send them out this link. Another thing about this too, now when we're sending that link, you should never click on that link. Don't click on it to test it or anything. The only student that should click on that link, well, the only person that should click on that link is the student. The student should only click on that link. You should just copy it, paste it, and send it. No clicking, no peeking, just send it. Okay, and we'll talk about why that's more important in just a moment as we move forward. But I hope that that kind of clarified, resending the link, taking a snip, and locating the technical competency resource guide, which all students should be receiving. Now, there's some other questions as well that kind of relates to that. And we'll talk about or these as well. Is so what if the student gave you like the wrong email? Like I don't know if that ever happens, because of course we should have the correct email because we completed an EA and we've sent out a checklist, and we should have verified that that is a legitimate email address because they received a checklist. So we should be doing that first and foremost, y'all. We should be making sure that we're sending out the checklist and that the student has actually received that checklist email from us. So we shouldn't be putting in the wrong email address, is what I'm saying. But in the event, let's say you transpose a number, a letter, or something like that, what do? Well, you do not need to re-register the student. We'll continue. So we'll just do what we just did. We will send them the link to that particular registration. We'll continue in that. However, in order to get it approved and whatnot, we will need to then send a snip of the IP address from both that assessment and from the EA and DocuSign. You send that to your senior director to get that verified and approved. Okay. The same thing goes for if you've misspelled the student's name, right? The email address and all that's correct, but the name, instead of calling them Matt, instead of putting Matthew, you put Matt, or vice versa, or whatever the case may be. You put a maiden name in. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, the name is misspelled or done wrong or incorrect. We'll take the same steps. We'll need a snip of the IP address from the SmarterMeasure assessment and the EA that needs to be sent to your senior director in order for approval, in order to move on. But again, I feel that a lot of this can be prevented if we just take our time. Take your time, slow down, make sure that the information that you're putting in is correct. That integrity, okay, first. So make sure that that information is correct. Now, many of you may not know how to get this information, the IP addresses from the assessment or from the from the EA, but I'm going to kind of demonstrate that as well. But this should be far and few between because we're the ones putting the information in. So hopefully we're putting in that information correctly the first time. But in the event it does happen, we're going to just walk through what we will need to do. In the event you need to request the approval because the name was incorrect or email address was kind of typed in wrong, or whatever the case may be, you'll need to provide an IP address from both the SmarterMeasure document or score, and from DocuSign, from an EA, from one of the enrollment agreements from the student, from an enrollment agreement from the student. So first, here in SmarterMeasure, we'll just simply, once you've searched for the student, you'll find the assessment here. Let's say this was completed. This is mine. So I'll just click on the assessment. And here I'll be able to see the IP address. Okay, so you'll take a snip of this information and put that in an email to your senior director. And then you'll also need to snip the IP address of a DocuSign document as well. So if you are going to do that, what you'll need to do is you'll need to, search for the EA, and then here in this area, you'll just simply click on the arrow, and you're looking for history, right? So this little drop down arrow here, you can simply click on the history. And by clicking on the history, you'll be able to identify for the student, like this is my trainer, of course, so we're not looking for hers, but for this here, we would just snip this area, highlight this particular IP address, and also attach it to the email that's being sent to your senior. That way we can verify everything and approve it, and then move forward with the student. So those are the steps of really taking a snip and actually getting to the IP address. Okay, so I hope that demonstration kind of clarifies some things in terms of how we get those things corrected, well, those errors corrected. But again, doing our due diligence is really first. So what do we do next, right? From this point on, this is the process. Hopefully we understand the process a little bit better and what's expected of everyone moving forward. If you do have issues or experience some problems, where you just don't know where to turn, please do email me, and I will work diligent. I will work very hard to make sure that I get things corrected for you before you make a mistake there and re-register students multiple times. Okay. Now you will need to complete a PD20 acknowledgement form, which was probably provided to you at this point, or it will be provided to you. And you will, from that point on, hopefully move forward in SmarterMeasure with some type of clarity. Okay. And if you guys, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or anyone on the training team. You have a wonderful, wonderful day.